Live from New York, it's a Festival of Lights. Happy Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this winter solstice, I think, right? Edition?
I think it's like the longest day of the year or something.
The longest, darkest part of the year.
There's never enough time, but
and we're here.
We need more time.
Dark with it.
Yeah.
Me, Lady Ada, with me, Mr. Lady Ada, here at the Adafruit factory, where we do all the electronic engineering, design, testing, manufacture, shipping of all the goodies, both for holiday shopping and without. Here from the factory in downtown Manhattan. We got a exciting show for you tonight with all sorts of wonderful goodies. New products are back. We don't have any special guests this week, so it's just us. But you know, we're pretty special on our own. What's on tonight's show? On tonight's
show, the code is overhaul. I kept seeing that word in the news, so I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to use it for something good.
It's kind of an overhaul.
Overhaul.
Over.
That's the code tonight. 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Don't forget, we're in Discord all night. Adafruit.it/Discord 24/7/365. We're in Discord. That's where we answer all the questions. So get in there now. We have a sale going on. We have Circuit Playground. How much is it percent off?
20% off.
Oh my goodness! So if you use the code, it still works with it?
I believe so. But either way, it's at least 20% off.
All right. Well, when you use that code and you get Circuit Playground, what are you doing? You're supporting us, an open source hardware company and manufacturer in New York. And we have a holiday photo where there's more of us, but it's always, you know, there's a lot of us, so it's hard to coordinate exact time when everyone's around. So whoever's around this time, we do some type of some type of video, some type of photo, and that is us. So thank you for supporting us. That code is what it does. Okay.
The best thing about that video is just Brian just kind of, he's a little shy. So it's like, he's like, hey.
Yeah, but when he says something, it's important.
He's really a wonderful guy.
All right.
He's just funny.
Show and tell, people around the world showing and sharing their projects. We'll go over that. Pack the mailbags and stop by. We have a special video message this week. Time travel, look back in the world, makers, hackers, artists, engineers, current news, and more. Made in New York City, some factory footage. Got some IoT news. The Mr. Friendly Cloud entity will help us out with that. Some 3D printing videos and more. Raspberry Pi stuff. Answer your questions. Top secret. Trivia. All that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Woo!
All right, well, let's go over some stuff here, some logisticy things. This is Ask an Engineer. Stuff. We do this every Wednesday at 8 p.m. We just did show and tell. That was at 7:30. Same day shipping keeps going on, but just keep in mind it's the holidays, so before 11 a.m. you have to be in New York City. If it's a zip code that we can get the same day, it's there. If it's not available, it's just not available. We have free stuff going on. Lady, what's the free stuff?
We do, and all the freebies are back in stock.
Really?
So now is a great time to place an order. If you order $99 or more, you'll get a free Proto half-size breadboard, perfect for making permanent breadboard projects. $199 or more, you'll get free UPS ground shipping. $150 or more, you'll get a free Trinket M0. $249 or more, you get a Gemma M0 for wearables. And $299 or more, you get Circuit Playground Express. Those three boards are all Circuit Python compatible. They're wonderful, powerful boards. You can use them with Arduino as well, but CircuitPython is something that we think people should try out. I think they will like it. So very nice, powerful boards featuring the Cortex M0 processors. And at every level, you get everything in the previous levels for free. So there's never a better time to pick up some Adafruit goodies.
Okay. Yeah, speaking of, you know, I Space, we have new products tonight too. I just
Yeah.
So we have the Circuit Playground deal going on. We have a bunch of types of shipping. This is the most type of shipping we've ever had as a company. So we have DHL, we have UPS, Express, local. UPS ground is what we suggest for the U.S., generally speaking, especially since it's trackable and reliable. We also have postal, and we've added postal for all 50 states of America. Yay, America.
Yay, America.
Yay, America. America's been in the news lately.
Yeah.
And also it goes. Shipping deadlines. Here's the thing, and it's pretty much it. So if you're going to order some, any expedited orders placed after 11 a.m. on Friday will go out on Tuesday. Monday's a holiday. But I wanted to mention this. You know, we have gift certificates. So you can always get an Adafruit gift certificate. In fact, starting like now, a lot of people start picking up gift certificates.
It's gift certificates.
You can do AdaBox stuff. You can do
That's a great gift.
Adafruit IO Plus. You can do lots of things, but we have our holiday gift guides. We have a bunch of stuff going on. You can look at all of them at any time.
You can order now, and just we don't guarantee it. If you order now and do expedited, you might get it. It's just not guaranteed.
It's just tough, yeah. And like nothing's worse than like, oh my gosh, like holidays are ruined because like, you know, the truck didn't show up.
One thing people do is sometimes they'll print out our nice color invoices and they'll give that as a gift.
Yeah. Or they'll just do a gift certificate, you know, which is always nice because you can print that out. That's really nice. Okay, show and tell. People around the world showing and sharing their project. Lady Ada, who's on the show and tell?
Oh, we had so many people showing up. Actually, nobody from Adafruit, because Adafruit people were all doing other cool stuff. But we'll talk about that, some of their videos and projects and more. Coding Pro came by. He's writing a guide for his Christmas Christmas gift box using a Gemma M0 and a piezo. Blitz City has a Pi Hut Christmas tree kit she put together, but she used like different LEDs that are better. And she's learning Fusion 360, so she made a Santa 3D printed ornament. Just look really cute. It's going to put also like electronics in the back and maybe do something. Rebecca is making a gift of a weather frame with NeoPixels for a family member, so that they'll have the weather appear. It'll be like super cool electronics like whiteboard. David A. Wrote some CircuitPython code with the dot star wing. Has some animations. It's like a wintry scene, very cute. But the big project he's working on is a smart home node using a Feather M0 Wi-Fi with a real-time clock, and will be able to control hue lights around the house. Very interesting. Chris Young is also making a bunch of 3D printed excess ornaments. There's an icosahedron with spikes. There is a ball, both hollow and solid, with like swirls around it. There's some snowflakes that are like super custom with like 9-pointed stars. And also he made a Christmas card. He makes a 3D model Christmas card because he worked on 3D modeling software of these elves 3D printing little Christmas gifts, and says like, Santa explores 3D printing this winter, which I think is cute. And each card also got a 3D printed insert customized with the person's name, so in case people didn't know what 3D printing was. And I think he said people really liked them. GB is working on that 4-bit ALU. He's doing the assembly by hand, like literally the assembler is being assembled by hand. But he's thinking maybe going up to an 8-bit ALU, which will be super sweet. So we'll wait for that. C. Scott demoed off a 1968 drum machine. Ani showed off the Raspberry Pi Chromecast, and it was working. Able to use a phone to send audio and video to this Raspberry Pi. Nice. Aiden made a Ninja Flex solenoid gripper. It's a little gripper with solenoid. Kind of trying to come up with new creative ways to do simple robotics and automation.
I thought it would be neat. I mentioned this on Chantal. The first honest open source claw machine, because then you could get really good with the skills. You don't have to worry about the maintainer of claw machine just trying to rip you off. Wouldn't that be neat? Like I think open source voting machines are on the horizon, but I also think we could start with the open source claw machine. Yeah.
Everybody is upset about the claw machine.
Imagine starting to have the ability to trust machines, because that you can always look at the plans, the source code, and you could build it yourself if you wanted to. That's a cool idea. Maybe you'll start with claw machines.
Yeah.
Later, voting machines.
Yeah, claw machine first.
Yeah.
Joey made a gift of a wireless scorekeeping module. So 2 modules that communicate back and forth. You can set the score and they'll appear. And it uses a Pro Trinket and an RFM69. And JM Chaos showed off with the Suitcase Nano to do some home automation, and also a tiny screen, little Arduino powered screens, and he's going to make a watch kit. So maybe next week a watch will come into fruition. I'll show that off. That was the show and tell.
Okay. All participants on the show and tell get, as seen on the show and tell sticker, email support@adafruit.com, and we will send you out a sticker. This is part of our Adafruit live series of shows. Last week we had a pretty epic week. We're getting some good guests. I think it's because we're the only live electronic show every week, but I think it might be because...
Where else are they going to go?
Yeah, so we had Matt from Eagle, and we had Mike Dole, and this was a really neat...
It was a good time.
Yeah, so we got the state of Eagle, and you and Matt jammed out. Matt's super sharp.
He's super sharp. It was really fun.
So you did that.
They did a push for 8.5. They added push and shove routing, which is something I've asked for. Yeah. But he also talked about the history of like how he's worked in the CAD industry, what they're looking to do with Eagle CAD. Yep. And also wrapped up, like they've been working on Eagle CAD for a year, and just all the massive amounts of updates that they've done to Eagle CAD. It was really cool. I'm actually super excited about where they're taking it. Yeah. Then we talked to Mike Dole, and Mike is one of our designers that works with us, and he's done all of the popular cases that you've seen. So full interview and more. And we also did a little bit of It's Not Out Yet, Don't Ask. Mike's working on this now. We showed that. That was kind of cool. And more videos. It's been video central. It's Videodrome here. JP, he has a little video that he did of like kind of the most dangerous thing. He's like, I made a lightsaber. So I'm going to play this video and then we'll go back. It's a terrible idea, but it's so cool. Yeah, well, we share. Here you go.
weekend, JP did another video. If you've been watching AdaBox and you know about AdaBox, and whether you do or not, I'll talk about what AdaBox is, but AdaBox Live 006 was last night. And people are tweeting about AdaBox 06. I think
this is the most favorite.
This is, yeah, I think this is our most successful one for all sorts of reasons. One, great value, got it fast, got it on time, cool stuff in the box, and then lots of tutorials. So, you know, each AdaBox, it is a project. It's like a whole separate company, essentially, because you probably see there's a lot of startups and all they do is subscriptions. Well, we run an Adafruit and we have now a subscription box. So here's one of the tweets that I liked. I picked this out. And if you're on Twitter, you can go to Twitter, Adafruit. But this is neat. It's like, Adafruit Circuit Playground is Mazeballs. I have people from vastly varying skill, knowledge level who come in for intro workshops, and this is the first board I find that truly scales and is satisfying for total beginners. AdaBox is love. So last night, JP did the unboxing, did live demos and more, and then I had a little bit of a thing. What was neat about JP's video is he used our graphics that we have, and he kind of explained, like, this is what AdaBox is, here's all the different things that you can do, there's make code, here's what's in the box. Went through all the things. We spent a lot of time on all these details, from the wrapping paper to working with DigiKey for some of the stuff inside of it, to every single piece that goes into it. Like that person said, it is made with love. So you can catch all the action on YouTube. We did it live, and then these are all archived. And I'm also pleased to finally show, this was the pin that was included. So if you're not an AdaBox subscriber yet, there's always a surprise. I can't always promise there's pins, but this is the pin that was only available for AdaBox, and I can't say that there'll ever be any more, because we kind of just like doing experiments like this. And then, okay, now we have another crazy thing, and like those were collectible pins. Now we have some other ideas for the next ones. 007, shipping in 82 days, so you have time. And you're probably wondering, what's in AdaBox? What's in it? What could be in it? Do you have a little video that
you
could show?
Do you want to sign up?
Well,
yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do. Well,
You
here's what AdaBox is.
Okay.
Okay, all right, this week, packing the mailbag's a little different. So one of the reasons that we did the code overhaul is because on the news, all there is like tax stuff, tax bill. I don't know who Bill is, but he's getting taxed. Bill's going to wake up, he's be like, oh my God.
William?
Yeah.
You're out of luck.
Yeah, it's like tax bill, and he's like, oh. So anyways, we watch the news, we're a business, and we're kind of watching all the changes in politics and taxes. But there was an interesting thing, and Bill from AT Makers sent us a note, and I'm going to play the video. So basically, if you want to maximize your charitable deductions, you should do it now. Because I guess next year, it doubles the amount of deductions you can have. So and Bill explains this. Some people don't donate as much unless, or at all, if it doesn't hit that deduction. So if you double the amount of deductions, like people, they'll have to donate more or do more for charity. And so Bill runs a 5013C charity, AT Makers. He's been on here, does assistive technologies for kids. You name it. He's one of our favorite folks in the maker community. So he has a little video that he made. So I'm going to play that. And this is kind of explained at all. And it's not. This is by the way, this is not political at all. This is just, like in the U.S., if you donate money, now is the best time to do it. So check this out. And Bill explains it better than me. Ooh, tax bill. Bill's going to get taxed.
Oh,
tax bill.
Maybe that's why.
Or no, he's a nonprofit. Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe not as much. I don't know. I have to read those 1,000 pages.
All right,
I'll do that this weekend.
We'll tape.
Hi, this is Bill Binko, founder of atmakers.org, and I'm going to spend just a minute talking to you about charitable donations, tax reform, and why this might be the best time you'll ever have to make a donation to the charity of your choice. Now, whether you think tax reform is a good idea, whether you think the current plan is a good one, all of that is entirely up to you. That's your political opinion, and we love you either way. Regardless of where you stand, there are a couple things that are going to happen in the new tax law. The first is your standard deduction is going to just about double. So if you were getting about $6,000 or $12,000 a year as your standard deduction, that'll go to $12,000 or $24,000. From a charity standpoint, this causes a bit of an issue because it is highly unlikely that you're going to get any benefit from a charitable donation in 2018. It doesn't mean that they've eliminated that deduction. It just means that you're going to have a much higher threshold to meet before you choose to itemize your taxes. Now, that may be a good or bad thing depending on where you stand, but from a charitable donations perspective, donations made in 2017 are much more likely to give you a tax benefit than donations made in 2018 and beyond. One estimate I saw today says that 6 of 7 people who currently, in 2017, itemized their deductions will not do so in 2018 and beyond. That means that those 6 out of 7 people will not get a charitable donation deduction. Now, why am I telling you all this? AT Makers is a charity. We rely on donations from our corporate partnerships like Lesson Picks. We rely on individual donations, and those have been growing as this organization has grown. So it matters to us if your likelihood to donate is going to go down. I know that may be not the least selfish thing to say at this time of year, but it's the truth. And if you are more likely to donate with a tax deduction, as most of us are, we would like you to be aware of this change while you still have the ability to do something about it. So if you've considered donating to AT Makers or any other charity actually, now really is the time to do it. Between now and December 31st are really the only times that you can get ahead of this and still get the write-off of your charitable donations. Now, if you're not aware of what AT Makers does, our goal is to teach makers, whether they're at the high school level, at a makerspace, or individuals, about assistive technology and about what their skills can be used for to make a difference for others. If you choose to make a donation, 100% of what you give will go directly into our programs. We are currently 100% manned by volunteers. That may change in the future, but as of right now, all of our overhead is either managed by our donations from corporate partners or is donated time from individuals. What that means is 100% of your donation will go towards making adapted toys for kids, teaching high school kids to make assistive technology. We have a Maker Day at ATIA this year that we're hosting that we will put this money to good use for. It will all go directly to the programs that we have started. If you want to make a donation or learn more about us, go to atmakers.org. There's a donate link there. Also, lots you can learn about the organization, or just email us at donations@atmakers.org. And finally, regardless of where you stand on tax reform and whether you even understand it, I hope you have a great holiday season and a wonderful and safe 2018.
Okay, so, in the chat, people who are really paying attention to it, there's like, there's a lot of folks who'll just do the standard thing instead of itemized. So statistically, it seems like there might be less people donating to things. So if you're going to do something, we've had Bill on the show. You can check out AT Makers.
Yeah.
It's a 501(c). You can see his work. You can see his videos. You can see the Ella video. For Adafruit, I guess I know, we talk about this frequently. As a company, we never really wanted to direct funds and force everyone here to maybe what you just like or what I just like. So what we decided to do, we do paid time off for charity. So our team members get paid to volunteer for a 501(c). That doesn't change anything. Nothing changes because
no, they still get paid the same amount.
Yeah, and I don't from what I understand, we don't get any benefit from that at all. There's no oh cool, you're a cool company. We don't get anything for that other than
no, we don't write it off.
We think it's the right thing to do. So nothing changes on that, which I'm glad. And I think other companies should do that because time is really valuable. But if you want to do something, I think AT Makers, that was one of the highlights of the year, chatting with Bill and more, because you can just see the impact. And we never set out to do assistive technology, but because you did such a good job and the team does such a good job with all the Adafruit stuff, it just works really well.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Open source. They can modify the stuff. Code, they can get it to work. It's cool. Okay. Next up. If you want to call us at the end of the show or anytime, you can leave a message. It's on Bitstab. Don't forget, Adafruit.it. We're on Discord. And
I'm in there sometimes.
That's where we do, yeah, I'm going to be there a lot with Outlay.
We chit-chat, help people.
Time travel. Okay, I got lots of stuff for time travel this
yeah.
week. Okay, I'll get through it fast. So time travel, this is kind of cool. We posted this up on the blog. We're about to. These are the new stamps that are coming out. I like stamps. So much like magazine covers, we are what we celebrate. Stamps say something. So we have Lena Horne. We have Mr. Rogers coming up. We've got Sally Ride, and they even have a STEM. I know there'll be some debate. Should it be STEAM? But like, hey, we're close. So there's an engineering stamp.
Ooh.
And the forever stamps.
Well, all that stamps. No.
Yeah, so those are the stamps that are coming out in 2000.
I really like this design.
We're gonna get the engineering.
60s,
Yeah, we're gonna get the engineering ones.
Space program
Yeah,
look.
and we wanted to have, in addition to the promised Harriet Tubman 20, we wanted to see like Sally Ride and other folks. So at least we're getting stamps. And my favorite Mr. Rogers story is a story that Mr. Rogers told, and you've heard me, I think, do this story before. So someone asked Mr. Rogers about a quote, or like what do you say to people? And he goes, actually, a social worker gave me something. And of course, it's Mr. Rogers, so he carries it with him carried it with him for his life. And he said, the social worker said,
the piece of paper?
Yeah, and he said that the social worker said to him, here's something that maybe you'll enjoy or think about. And he said, he took out the piece of paper and it said, if you understood or knew someone's story, you could love them. And I think about that a lot. Like, we're in New York, and like everyone's kind of been through something, and actually like worldwide, if everyone's had something happen, good and bad. But if you knew their story, maybe we'd all be a little bit nicer to each other. And I think about that, like when someone's like kind of being mean or something, like I'm like, well, something must have happened to them. Like, I don't think people are born mean. I think collectively we kind of do that to each other.
Yeah.
So I thought that was powerful. Okay, so that's my Mr. Rogers story. All right. We had an exciting guest. James was here from Google.
That was this weekend.
We filmed. It was an amazing conversation about AI. I can't wait till this is out of edit. And I think this is like one of the best conversations, like two engineers talking about AI. It was you and James. He was at MIT. He was also at iRobot and professor at Rice, well known in robot world. And then you guys just like, I'll break the fourth wall here. So when I see Lamar talk to another engineer, there's like this baud rate thing, and then it just went for like 2 hours. It was amazing.
Yeah, he had a lot to say.
Yeah, it was good.
And I had a lot to ask him.
Yeah.
So we kind of got talking about AI, but like in a good depth, but I think a way that other people can understand.
I've never heard people have engineering conversations about stuff. So anyways, this is James. And so speaking of Google, there's a Google pop-up store in New York. And we went in.
Chelsea Midtown.
Yeah, we went in. And the team of people there that work on it were there, and they recognized us. And we took our photo with this thing. And then here's what's neat. Once you take your photo there, they send it to you. But because we said hello, we got to go into the back room, and they made wrapping paper out of us. That's us. The merchandising of Lady Ada and Phil will begin soon. And so this is like
they tessellate it into this piece of paper that they print out on this gigantic HP inkjet.
Yeah.
It's like a poster printer, and they basically make custom wrapping paper for you.
And I want to get this right. So the pop-up.
It's like the Unit 9 or something?
Yeah, I want to get this right because they did a really good job.
Okay, you have notes?
Yeah, I have notes. So this was a Google pop-up store. The address of it, if you're in New York, it's still going on. It's at Google at Flatiron, 110 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York.
It's like 17th and 5th.
Yeah, and the folks at Unit 9 did a really good job.
Yeah, they did it.
And this was Mike
Schroffel.
Yeah. And
Schroffel?
We always get to go to some of these things because we're in New York, and this is one of the first times that we got a chance to talk to someone who worked on this. They had a big HP printer. So check out unit9.com. They did the work behind this.
And check out this if you're in New York. Go by. It's actually kind of fun. They have you take a photo. You can play with some devices.
Yeah,
and they have a VR room.
And when we go to these pop-up things, a lot of companies that like Google works with, or HP, or Amazon, or anyone, they use Adafruit stuff, but we don't necessarily get to meet the people. We know that they order stuff, but we go to these events and we see all of our stuff there, and we're like, oh, that's cool what they did. Like, there's full-time companies that just use our stuff for like art installations and for things like this. That was really neat. So thanks, Mike, for doing that. That was cool. Okay, next up, I just have like news. This is like Newsweek. Riddick has a new wearable product coming out. No, just kidding. Magic Leap came out. And this is a $2 billion startup.
It's actually amazing that they shipped.
Yeah, well, not yet.
No, well, they're
Not yet.
They at least showed a photo of the thing.
Yeah, not yet. They haven't shipped yet. But one of the neat.
Do you want one of these?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So it's Magic Leap. It's called Magic Leap 1. I did a blog post about it.
You're really into VR.
Well, speaking of,
where's your photo from you in Second Life?
just give me a second here, man. I got like a whole thing. So there's only 3 types of humans, I guess. Developers.
Well, I'm a developer.
Developers, reporter, just
and you're
curious.
a reporter.
Yeah.
So we cover both.
So, every time there's a company that has VR stuff, I'm like, hey, like I've been doing this for like 12 years or so. And they never like Google Glass were like, hey, we have a puppet thing. We want to do all this. Nope, just fashion people and whatever Sergey was doing with his fashion stuff and whatever. But like not interested in us.
Waterbed.
Not interested in us.
Yeah.
And then, so I did a blog post. I'm like, well, maybe they'll see me. These are photos from decade. This is like me inside Second Life. And then I've been doing this forever when these like gigantic things were attached to my head. So I'd really like to use this.
That is super embarrassing.
This is so embarrassing.
That doesn't even look like you that much.
Yeah, I'm getting older.
No, it just isn't. It's just weird. Your face looks weird.
Yeah, my face looks weird. It's because I haven't been really sleeping a lot.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's age.
Oh.
Yeah, Chris Young showed us 5 years ago. We were in an apartment.
Yeah.
Tiny apartment. It's weird. Time's
weird. I think
weird.
it's your hair, too. Your hair's really short.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, you're making me feel better. Okay, good.
No.
All right.
It's like I like your hair longer.
Speaking of 10 years.
Yeah.
Decades. I wrote about this. So Noisebridge, which was started about 10 years ago, they're moving. The lease is over.
Yes, that's right.
And I saw a tweet not too long ago. They were looking for a lawyer that knew about like land use stuff. So I think the landlord said like, "Hey, your lease is up because you can't use it for this anymore." So they're looking for a new home. Did a blog post about it. It is almost a historical landmark. I'm almost tempted to say like you might want to contact the historical societies in San Francisco. It's not like the Full House or anything like that. Those houses that are very, very San Francisco looking.
Like the architectural, historic stuff.
Yeah, because this is like
landmark.
One of the first U.S. hacker spaces.
They should have been a little cute Victorian.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of maker spaces in the Bay Area, but this is the only one I think in San Francisco proper.
So I think they had a lease, and landlord said lease is up, so they're looking for a new space. I think they're doing a fund drive. I put all the links on the blog post. I'm trying to keep track of this maker world because we're kind of a decade in. So on to the decade in stuff. I have an update, sort of, to the tech shop story I've been following. So
yeah, luckily this has only gotten more exciting.
Well, sort of. I interviewed Dan Rajer.
Maybe not luckily.
Yeah,
interestingly,
he and Tech Shop 1.0 got a mutual understanding memorandum of understanding.
Yeah.
MOU. And it's like, hey, you're bankrupt, or you're gonna sell this thing, or we agree that this is gonna sort of happen.
Yeah.
Kind of like letter of intent, I guess, the best way to describe it. So then that stopped, and I think they're re-engaging right now. There was a post, and I have it, and so this one is haven't posted anything for a few days. Gonna be providing an update. There's paperwork that came in. Now it's Christmas break, so we'll see. I know there's a couple journalists working on stuff out there because they're like, hey, thanks for putting all that together, because they're like, well, here's business documents. So Tech Shop 2.0 is registered in Kansas. The thing that I was concerned with is there's a lot of people in the maker community that were contractors and they worked with Tech Shop 1.0. They weren't paid. There's employees that were told one day it's out of business. There's all these tech shops that are out there with huge amounts of equipment, and it is kind of known in the maker world. And although like the circles don't overlap, like we've always had our own equipment and everything, but there's a lot of people who started businesses at tech shops. So I'm trying to keep an eye on this and get the word out. Someone started a wiki with all the stuff, so I linked to that in there. So yeah, there's people that still have their stuff at tech shops.
Once there's a wiki, now it's serious.
There's people who have their stuff inside tech shop, but it was closed, and so they have to wait until they can get in to get their stuff.
No, they locked the doors, and they're like, hey, because you had storage that you could locker that you could keep there, and then it ended up working against you.
Yeah. So anyways, also just generally speaking, because we're in this phase of business where there's a lot of people coming in wanting to invest in the maker movement, do due diligence, ask for references, kick the tires. We all spend forever looking for the best hammer and like what software package we're going to install.
What keyboard to buy.
This is millions of dollars that people are owed, or there's VC. Like, run this down. It matters. These are people's life. Stella, our CFO, went to the tech shop grand opening, and it shut down 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
People moved to work on this. People at tech shop, employees, didn't know what was going on. So I think like more transparency is good. So we'll see. I think these companies, they like the community. They're like, oh, like we're part of a community. Well, you're also stuck with us too.
Yeah.
And like the expectation is you're going to make it clear that you're making more money than you're spending.
Yeah.
Like it kind of matters now. I mean, maybe not next year because I guess everything's different for businesses from what I read, but who knows? Okay, so I have another story. So
okay.
I can put on my journalism glasses for a second.
Unending.
Yeah, I just been like I've had a little bit of extra time, so I've been writing. So my journalism glasses I got to put on for this. It's journalism time. Okay, so here's my story.
You're here to do some journalism. I
saw the same thing that everyone else saw on the New York Times. It's like, here's a UFO. It's a UFO. And it's some declassified footage of an unknown object. Not a UFO, it's just we don't know what it is.
What's unknown?
Don't know. And like, it's old footage. It's like, I don't know, 13 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like a thing, and then it like moves off. And everyone like, finally proof. And leading up to this, it was pretty weird. So leading up to this, someone from the government resigned. They said, hey, there's a secret program. So it turns out Harry Reid put $22 million into this program that's supposed to figure out, like, are these things threats? Whatever is showing up on the instruments once in a while, like, could be a drone, could be anything else. Whatever it is, like, what is this? $22 million, which is nothing for the Pentagon budget. It's like 0.001 of a budget. So I read this New York Times article, and I'm like, this is a weird New York Times article. Like, it's like, right away, it's like aliens are real.
It doesn't really match.
And then I looked at the quotes, and I'm just like, this is kind of weird. And then I saw this thing. It's like, and now the Department of Defense Pentagon guy is working to the Stars Academy. And I'm like, what the heck is to the Stars Academy? And then in the article, it said Harry Reid gave most of the money flowed to this guy,
Elias?
Robert Bigelow.
Bigelow, yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second, I kind of remember that name. So here's where I remember that name from. This guy bought this Skinwalker Ranch. And Skinwalker Ranch was this like place where like aliens are sighted, and there's always like cows everywhere that got eaten, sort of, or like they're cow skins. There's never a person. It's always like pets and cows. So he got an award for this, and the award was a Pegasus Award from Randy, and it's just like he debunks stuff.
Yeah.
So Bigelow's been doing this like, oh, here's like astral projections, and here's UFOs, and here's like all this stuff. And a lot of the things are just like, it's a little odd. And I'm like, okay, what? This doesn't make sense. Why would the New York Times not mention some of these things? And then I kept looking into it, and I'm just like, all right, well, let me see what To the Stars Academy is. And I went to there. And because we're trying to figure out, like, structures of companies, I looked at this, I'm like, oh, this is a public benefit corp. And it's like one of the new Jobs Act companies.
Yeah.
So anything under $50 million, you can use your credit card and invest in a company. Minimum 200. So they have $2.1 million. And they're like, we have alien technology.
So they're crowdfunding right now.
Yeah, they're crowdfunding. They're like, we know that we're gonna make this spaceship. So I watched the video and I'm like,
$2 million to make a spaceship?
Well, they want more. And then I looked and I'm like, well, let me just look at the business filings, because they have to do this thing called a circular. This is interesting to me because we want to do like profit sharing one day, Adafruit. I'm like, how did they figure out shares and everything? And I'm like, who's this guy Tom DeLonge? And I'm like, oh, wait a second. The CEO of the company, of this guy, of all the people that are quoted in the article, it's the guy from Blink-182. I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
This guy's from Blink-182.
Did you listen to Blink-182?
No. I just knew, I remember they were a band. I'm just like, what's the Blink-182 guy doing? So I look, and it looks like most of this is to make movies and like albums, and there's like royalty stuff, and there's all these things that are, it looks like it's a band thing, but then there's these like scientists that are in there. And I'm just like, why did the New York Times quote these folks and not put that this is a...
It is something unusual. Usually they dig in a little bit more.
Yeah, so I looked into it, and I'm like, oh, the person that was quoted in the article, it wasn't disclosed that he is a shareholder of this. So you can look, his name is Hal Putoff, and he's best known for getting the James Randi thing that came up with Uri Geller. So he was one of the people that said, no, Uri Geller is real.
Yeah.
This is a real deal. And that was like debunked. Just like, you didn't really bend spoons with mine. You just didn't do it. And so these are all connected in a weird way. And I'm just like, okay. And then I thought about it. It's like, back in my day, rock stars were actually aliens. They weren't like doing crowdfunding sites. David Bowie was an alien. We all agree. So it's just a little different. So that was then. And this is now. So
yeah, well, this is what we get. This is what we deserve. So
yeah, I just looked into it because I'm just like, oh, neat. Let me look into this crowdfunded thing, and then it's a public.
Do you think it's just a way for them to get attention to crowdfund for this company?
Well, they're claiming to be a public benefit corp, and I haven't seen the public benefit stuff. It's like education. Okay, what are they educating? And
Yeah.
it's just like it's movies about like, oh, we saw UFOs or something. So this is just like opinion stuff, and I looked into it for like a minute, and then I emailed the New York Times like, hey, it's unusual, and then one of the authors is promoting UFO book and going on TV like, buy my UFO book, and then the other person quoted there is the same guy who's part of this company. So to me, this seems like a way to separate people from their money. It doesn't seem to be the type of research like the Listen thing that Hawking is doing. That's a good idea. That's interesting. There's rigor and there's science, and they are pointing the ears right now at that asteroid that's coming in. That's interesting work. Like fuzzy.
We already have this like alien
fuzzy photos,
unidentified thing.
A fuzzy thing from like 15 years ago. I saw Neil deGrasse Tyson today on CNN, and he's like, "Look, everyone has an iPhone. Like, it's a little weird that we don't ever see anything other than like in cow fields and over restricted airspace during training exercises."
It's always like in England in like a cornfield where there's bored people.
Anyways, so I'll take the journalism glasses off. So I'm looking into it. It's interesting from a business point of view because it's a public benefit corp. It's interesting because it's one of the Jobs Act's crowdfunded companies, and a lot of people said, "Oh, like." It'd be cool to have a crowdfunded electronics company. We don't want to do that, but everyone could. For this example, you could put your credit card in, and now you own shares of To the Stars Academy. So, interesting business story. And then I think people really want to believe in aliens. They're always here, and humans are never smart enough, and we can't make technology on our own. And everything good just happened from aliens. I have more faith in humankind.
Okay.
I think we'll figure stuff out.
But you think this Blink-182 guy is?
I think it's unusual.
helping.
I think it's unusual that it's not mentioned at all that this is actually a company that they all work for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it sound like they're all individual people that have no. They're like, oh, here's another person.
No, it's a.
But they actually all work together. They're all in one company.
Yeah. So, anyways, all right. So we have some open source stuff. All right, we have a massive, amazing guide. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
What's up, guys? All
we
right.
got this
So we had. Since last week, we had the Snow Globe guides. We had a couple Snow Globe guides. We had the AdaBox 6 guide, which went live. So has a bunch of projects. Even if you don't have an AdaBox 6 its own, if you're a Circuit Playground Express, you can follow many of the projects in there. We have the guide that goes for MS per MOSFET Circuit Playground. We have the DIY AIY 3D printed AdaBot head. So if you bought one of these Raspberry Pi AIY kits, the AI kits that does audio, you can make your own 3D printed enclosure instead of just using the cardboard box. We have the DigiKey All the Internet of Things Protocols, which is a massive guide that I wrote all about Internet of Things protocols. It builds off the transport layer guide that we wrote a few months ago. This one, it mostly focuses on MQTT and REST/HTTP, so read about that. It'll tell you everything you need to know with examples and all. We have Circuit Playground Morse Code Flasher. That's from Colin. He wrote a sweet guide on how to use both MakeCode and CircuitPython to make a little Morse code flasher. You type in a message and it'll flash the message in Morse code for you. Good to practice your Morse code reading. And of course, we have the massive guide, Introduction to Welcome to CircuitPython. That's by Kattni. It's a huge guide, but it's designed specifically for beginners. If you've never used Python or CircuitPython, this will get you started with your board. It'll tell you how to install stuff, how to upgrade, how to get libraries, how to write your first program, how to use the REPL. Everything very beginner friendly. So this is a good place to get started before you jump into some of our CircuitPython projects.
Yep. Everyone in Discord, hug report up, Kattni. Great guide.
Yay, Kattni.
Okay. You were in the news. You're getting some interesting press now because I think for a while they didn't know really what an Adafruit was, and now this is E&T, Engineering Technology, Lamore Freed, Building Electronic Dreams.
That's me.
This is you.
Making the
I have to say, the engineering and mechanical engineering and technology press, they're starting to notice Adafruit and you.
Yeah.
And what we do here.
Yeah.
We're kind of like working in...
I actually kind of like that. It's like the time, like the electronics things. They're like, whoa, wait, there's like this maker thing.
Yeah. I think...
12 years later.
Just to kind of dial it back a little bit, I think those giant multi-billion-dollar funded companies like Magic Leap, there's only so many stories you can do about stuff that's not shipping.
Yeah.
So I think the journalists that are out there, they're like, well, is there anyone in U.S. manufacturing? Yeah, and like kind of a lot of roads lead to Adafruit. We're one of the only in New York City. No funding, no venture capital, no loans. And so it's kind of a boring story, but I think people kind of want that boring story. Like we ship things to people. We give out code. We have a community. Someone said we're like a community factory. And I think that story is becoming interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, I've had some time to think about we are what we celebrate. You know, the things on the stamps. You want more Mr. Rogers? Put Mr. Rogers on a stamp. Yeah. If you're a technical publication, if you keep putting Mark Zuckerberg on the cover of a magazine, we're just going to get like, oh, let's make an advertising company that monetizes people. 73% of all the advertising, Google and Facebook, it is like monopoly right now.
Yeah.
It'd be good to have more competition in this space, and I think that more of this. So thank you, E&T and the other ones. I think you're in circuit. I think you're in Circuit Seller.
Oh yeah.
Next month.
That was a while ago. Okay, cool.
Okay. All right. Next up, I want to.
It's like sliding away here.
Yeah, I want to thank Rebecca. She did a workshop with Make Code. Make Code is the easy-to-use open source Microsoft block like editor, has JavaScript, and she sent these photos in. These are teachers, so she's helping teachers teach others, and that's the Make Code site's out of beta. With the new graphics with all of our Circuit Playground characters.
No, it has beginner guides when you click. It's really nice. It's like easier than ever. Like we're getting there.
So, anyways, thanks Rebecca, and thanks for doing it. We're finding people that their thing is teaching teachers. That's cool, because we can't go to every school, but we can find someone who can. Anyways, all right. We have some. Speaking of that manufacturing thing I was talking about, we've got some stuff from around the factory. Okay, and then we have some other ones that we've been filming. So we have these stacking headers, and we sometimes make stuff out of them. And then I have a couple time lapses from our holiday photo. Andrew, our photographer, put this together, and this is what it takes to photograph just some of us. We're over 100 people, and so we tried to time it when we had enough people to take a photo, because we're all kind of on different schedules. But here's the time lapse that we put together, and then, as always, we always have a camera pointing out the window from the pick and places, and what a cool city this is.
A cold, windy day.
Yeah, this is Batman weather. I like this. Okay, Nimbus, the friendly cloud entity, is here, Laydata, and we have something special this week. We just launched, which so far has been the most well-received and commented IoT video. It's all the Internet of Things with DigiKey. And I have to remember it's capital D and then capital K with a dash with a hyphen.
I'm used to spelling it one word, but I have to
Digi,
Digi-key.
dash key in this capital D,
There's a
capital K.
digi-keyer.
Program in here. And so here's a very fast one. So you talk about every protocol for IoT. So we're explaining all of IoT. You're going through examples. You have all the different types from REST to MQTT. This is an intense subject that no one wants to take on. And so you did it. Good work, you. And I have a little trailer. This is the full thing sped up. And then we have a trailer, and you can watch it on YouTube. And we're up to the third one we're filming is services. We're also going to do a security one because S in IoT stands for security.
But I think it's a good, you know what? Security covers a lot. It's not just like, oh, get a key. It's like there's a lot of details that are involved in security, like choices that you have to make.
Yep. So here's the trailer.
Konnichiwa, shalom, bonjour, hello. When humans greet each other, we say hello, we wave, we shake hands. It's the same with machines that we've built and the Internet of Things. We have a language and guidelines. There are millions of computers and sensors, actuators, systems on the Internet. And for all things to communicate, we need a shared language and rule set. A shared language and rule set allows quick and efficient communication between things using less programming, power, memory, and data transmission. When people talk to each other, we call it language because we use our tongues. When machines talk to each other, we call that shared language a protocol.
And special thanks for DigiKey for helping make that happen. So Adafruit IO, it's our Internet of Things service for makers. We have dashboards, dials, buttons, MQTT, a lot of the stuff that you're going over in these videos.
REST, all of it's supported.
And we just launched Plus. So here's the dealio, everybody. This is one of the times of the show I'm going to ask for something. If you're interested in seeing a software as a service thing succeed, so the subscription thing that we did with AdaBox, it's working out. A lot of work working out. We also have Adafruit IO, and if you're using IO for free, which thousands of people are, lots of them, consider getting a Plus membership. It's only $10, because that means that we can keep supplying one of the best ways to do IoT. We have IoT Bill of Rights. We built this for us and for the world, so you can give it as a gift. You could buy it for yourself, but if you like to do data logging and more, this is it, and that helps us because it keeps the servers running and more. All right, 3D printing. Noah and Pedro did a recap video of this year, and what a year they had.
So extruded.
How many rolls of plastic have they used? A lot.
More like 20.
A lot. Yeah. They have a lot of printers. Here we go. Year in review. What a year. Thank you, Noah and Pedro. And they have a Timelapse Tuesday as usual. This is a small car. Meep, meep.
Meep, meep. Oh, yeah, this is the multi-car?
Okay, and don't forget, Noah and Pedro do 3D Hangouts every single Wednesday. Today they did sliders, cars, and pixel sand. Go check that out on our YouTube channel. I have some Raspberry Pi stuff. Just one big mention. I want to give a shout out to the Pi Foundation and what they're doing. So Hackspace 1 magazine came out.
Yeah.
The physical copy, you get a free PDF. You can download anytime you want. And then tomorrow, big news.
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow, issue 2 is on sale. And
Wow.
this one is all about 3D printers.
Okay.
So a lot of familiar faces in the maker world. Becky was on the cover of Hackspace 1.
Yay!
And 3D printers is 2. Download will be possible.
can't wait to
Just
read it.
like Magpie, which is also out right now. They also have a Raspberry Pi book. Maybe I'll mention that next week.
So is
but
Hackspace a monthly or is it bi-monthly? What's their
it looks like it's monthly.
yeah.
I mean, so far
Ooh, that's a lot of magazine.
it's been 2 months in a row. Yeah. Okay. So let's give everyone this code. Overhaul. We're doing overhaul. Sounds like a trucker thing. Overhaul. 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up till 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. You get discounts on Circuit Playgrounds automatically, so maybe up to like 30%. But anyways, it supports us. All these folks here that are waving hi.
Hi.
Pick up a kit.
Thank you for supporting us.
So let's do this, Lady Ada.
Okay.
Hit it.
New.
Very festive. All right, new products. So it's always a product. It's not exactly new, but it could be new for someone in your life. Gift certificates from Adafruit. Get one. Gotta mention it.
They make
now's the time.
good and easy gifts.
All right, next up.
Okay, first up, we have some tubing. Yay, silicone tubing. Wow, so exciting. It's silicone tubing that
Tubes.
fits, tubes. It fits perfectly in our peristaltic pump. Our pump comes with a little bit of silicone tubing, and you can pick some up from McMaster Car, but there's people who are like, no, I want a lot of tubing. So now we have a meter-long piece of tubing, pretty cheap, and it's like perfect size that goes into the peristaltic pump. It's a little bit of a tight fit. It's supposed to be a tight fit, and what's neat is the pump never touches the liquid, so it's really good for moving like fluid that you want to drink or that like would corrode or damage a pump or something. Silicone tubing is good. You want to show them the overhead?
Yeah, let's do a live
Switch
demo.
it.
We have this live demo thing for a reason. Let's do
Well,
it.
yeah, I've got this tubing. Well, I don't think I'll plug it in because I think I want to keep moving. But
Okay, we got plenty of time.
no, we got this pump, and then the tubing goes in here, and then yeah, it can take fluid from one point and push to the other.
Focus on
It's not focused.
it. No, it is.
Okay, yeah, the tubing it'll pump liquid from one side to the other, and yeah, the tubing just fits inside. You just open it. There's these little snap bits here, and you just pull them apart, and this pops out. And you just fit the tubing inside. You have to squish it in place, and then it rotates and it pushes the liquid through. So it's just the tubing, but if you want the tubing and the pump, you can get both.
Okay. Next up, when all the power on planet Earth is used for Bitcoin mining, you'll need the following.
Yeah, we have this K-Tor hand crank. So we had a version that was wall adapter, and this version is USB output. So you see there's a little USB jack. It gives you 5 volts out regulated, 1 amp. It's it works. You have to sit there and you have to crank it, but you can charge your phone at 1 amp or your device. Now there's a lot of larger tablets that maybe need 2 amp of current, so it won't work for those, or it might charge them but not as quickly. But it does work quite well. We saw we charge an iPhone, your GPS, your MP3 player, whatnot. This folds out and snaps into place, and then it's pretty ergonomic. You hold it and you twist it, and then over here is the output. And so it's nice is it just has, instead of doing one 10 volt, which the other one did, it just gives you 5, because like 99% of everything you're using is USB powered.
Yeah, as a couple of people who lived through Sandy with no power.
Oh yeah, you can charge your phone.
No, I had one of the ones from a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it was great in a jam. I have a go bag. Well, we have 2 go bags.
You do have to sit and crank it though.
Yeah.
Like just be aware, like you have to.
But it's important.
But it does work.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, in
Good
this,
for your arm, maybe.
This
Gets
week
wrong.
in particular, people were going through the Atlanta airport and it ran out of power. Power is kind of a tough thing sometimes, so I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. This is very nice. It's very well made. It's very sturdy. This is kind of like it. Like this is kind of the best thing on the market for something like this. So yeah, there you go. It doesn't have a battery built in, so if you want to have it store So you'll have to charge something.
You could always just sit there and charge a battery, and then
you might want to pair this with a USB battery pack that you can then charge up, and then you keep that and then use that for when you don't want to sit and crank constantly.
Okay.
Okay.
We got this. This is pretty.
Oh, this is an update. Wait, this was just working, and now, of course, it's not.
Yeah. Well, what is this? I'm showing photos.
This is a. Oh, there you go. Have to be plugged in. This is the Smart Matrix version 4. This is a little board that adapts a Teensy 3.2 to fit onto these sort of standard Hub 75 style multiplexed LED matrices. Are used for making LED walls, and we sell them. You can see this lovely demo. And this is just a simple demo showing like layering and text and stuff. That's the Teensy 3.2, and then what's nice is it has this like little plug, and it's like fully assembled, so there's no soldering. You just plug it in, and then there's example code, and this also is socketed in. You can also use it with LED strip, like a NeoPixel or dot star LEDs if you like, but I think it's kind of best used for these matrices. It doesn't have to drive. This thing I think is a 32 by 32. They can drive like the 32 by 64s, I think, as well. It can drive the really big displays, and you can, of course, tile them together and make larger displays because the Teensy 3.2 has lots of memory. So this is just a little add-on helper, and it comes with a library. This is version 4, so it's the latest version.
Okay. Next up, Mimi.
We have 2 MBots. These are from MakeBlock, and these are like really nice little robots that you can use for desktop or tabletop or floor use. They're kind of the most rugged of the robots that we've seen. You get a lot. They're about $100 a piece. There's 2 versions. One version comes with Bluetooth. One comes with 2.4 gigahertz. If you want to use it with a tablet, you should get the Bluetooth version. And you can always program it over USB. But there's like a little module in here, so you can see there's a little Wi-Fi wireless module. So it comes with either Bluetooth one or 2.4 gigahertz one. And if you're using a tablet or a phone, you want to get the Bluetooth version, and there's apps for it. If you're using it with a desktop computer or laptop, you should get the 2.4 gigahertz version. But you put it together, but it has like easy snap together pieces, like these little cables snap in. With sensors and motors, and then this is like the brain, and it's an Arduino compatible. Little sonar sensor there, like line following. It's Arduino compatible. You can always program it over USB. So you got a USB port there. But what's nice is that you can also like use it wirelessly. So let me see if I can pull up this app that I installed. Give me a second. So what's nice is that there's like, there's this app where you use, you can like drag and drop blocks, which unfortunately, press that. It's going to be complaining. But you can drag and drop blocks and create programs. It's kind of like a Blockly interface. And then there's also, like, you can basically go through the app and like learn different robotics things. There's a course version, and then there's also an activity version, so you can like do projects with it, and it has like different like interfaces. So it's kind of like a big advanced system. So you can have like a control. You can like make your own like custom controller for your robot that like maybe picks up something and moves or turns, and then there's a speaker built in so it can play sounds. So it's a little bit more than just like a standard rover where you just like kind of move it or you don't move it. This one, it has a lot of activities built in, which I think is kind of nice. So this is what I like about this one is it's both basic in that you can just like if you want to just control it as a RC robot, you can do that. And if you want to use Blockly, which is like Scratch, you can use that. And if you're really advanced, you connect over USB and you can program it with the Arduino library. So you can basically like act as if it was a full Arduino compatible robot. So it has a lot of flexibility from a beginner to advanced level. So yeah, if you're using it with a tablet or phone, get the Bluetooth version. If you're using it with a desktop, get the 2.4 gigahertz version. Laptops also 2.4 gigahertz. That's probably the best bet until every computer has Bluetooth built in.
Soon.
One day.
Okay. And the star of the show tonight, besides you, Lady Ada, and the community, and everyone here together, is this.
The Itsy Bitsies. I actually designed these in 2015, and I haven't gotten around to put them in the store till now.
I remember the desk of Lady Ada. So we have these. These are the Itsy Bitsies.
Yeah. So these are they're little dev boards, and they're basically my answer to I want something bigger than a trinket but smaller than a feather. And we have the Pro Trinket, but the Pro Trinkets are not going to last very long because
watch out, Trinket Pro, we're coming after you.
Yeah, it's got the BitBang USB stuff, which doesn't work really well on modern computers, like especially Mac High Sierra and higher. They kind of struggle with it, and sometimes you need to take like a USB hub. USB 3 ports don't always work with it, so instead of trying to continue on that path, we just said, okay, let's just make something similar enough using the Atmega 32U4, which is well-known popular chip. It's Arduino compatible. There's two versions. We have a 3-volt version and a 5-volt version. The 3-volt version has one pin that's a 5-volt output. So if you want to use it with NeoPixels, that pin is like shifted high, so it's better for driving servos or NeoPixels or anything else that needs a 5-volt signal and is very picky about that, doesn't like a 3-volt signal. But they're pretty much the same design, just one has a 3-volt regulator and one has a 5-volt regulator. And then we'll also have other versions with like an M0 or M4 chip later, but this is just to get started. If you're thinking of building a project and you want to pick up a Pro Trinket, I would recommend this. And I'm going to update the Pro Trinket page as well to say, hey, basically check these out. They're as powerful but easier to use. Like the chip is 32K of flash, but it has built-in native USB, and I think that makes it a better chip overall. Yeah, also has more GPIO available.
And I think Arduino stopped making the Leonardo a while ago, right?
Yeah, I don't even know if the micro is available. So this is something that has a lot of pins. Basically, it's like 20 GPIO pins. It's like 28 total, but of those 23, I think, are GPIO. It has 6 analog and like 5 PWM. So it's a lot of I/O. People like the Trinket. They liked how small it is, and this isn't that much bigger than a Trinket, but it has a lot more pins.
Okay. You know what time it is? It's product recap time. New products this week, Lady Ada.
New. We got gift certificates, so holiday season, give a gift certificate. They can pick up whatever they like. We've got silicone tubing for the peristaltic pump. If you have one of our nice peristaltic pumps, but you're like, hey, I wish I had some silicone tubing, don't want to go to the hardware store, we sell it by the meter. The KTOR power pack. This lets you charge any USB 5-volt 1-amp device with your arm, your hand. You move it like a human battery, and it will charge your device for you.
Like the Matrix.
So you don't even need to have batteries. This is the Smart Matrix version 4. It takes a Teensy 3.2 that you solder and attach to the back, and it'll plug into RGB matrices or LED strips and does like all of the management for you and lets you do text and layering and colors and animated GIFs, all that good stuff.
Meep.
You got the MBots. These are build-it-yourself, solder-free robots. They're really well made. They're very beautiful. Love that blue. We have them in both Bluetooth, which works great with tablets and phones, and 2.4 gigahertz radio, which comes with a dongle for use with tablets or desktop. Build your own smart little robot rover.
Okay, and?
The Itsy Bitsies. They're bigger than a Trinket and smaller than a feather. These 32U4 base boards are kind of just a small development board with a lot of pins. People have been asking for that. You have a 3-volt version and a 5-volt version, so pick and choose depending on what kind of logic level you're interfacing with.
All right, that's it. Happy holidays.
Hey, thanks everybody.
That concludes new products. All right, well, it's time for us to answer some questions, and there's only one way to do it.
Go to Discord.
Adafruit.it/Discord. That's where we answer the questions. So let's hit the Discord.
You must Discord.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Question for the Smart Matrix demo: is a multi-layered text layering exclusive to the Teensy? Could that effect be done with a Circuit Playground Express or Feather M0?
You could probably do it with the M0, but a lot of the speed that comes from the Smart Matrix is because there's some special DMA that the Teensy can do to control RGB matrices that we don't do on the M0. So it's kind of looks best on the Teensy. It's kind of designed for it.
Yeah. Oh, discount code. Yeah, that'll be going till 11:59 p.m. tonight, or if I fall asleep, it'll be like
everything in stock.
5 in the morning. Yeah, so that's going on. Okay. More questions. Wonder if the silicone tubing would work as a light pipe with an LED at the end.
Yeah, I think you could. I mean, it's kind of diffuse.
Yeah.
Not what we bought it for, but you could try it.
Okay. Will there be a CDMA version of the Phono?
Probably not. We're probably going to go straight to LTE once
And
the LTE
skip ahead.
modules, get more inexpensive.
Is there an EEPROM on the Itsy Bitsy? If so, how much standard 1K?
I believe it's a half a K.
Yeah.
It's built into the chip. There's 512 bytes of EEPROM.
Okay. I'm making a test program to detect a system time error change and reset the system. What's a good way to detect, because the statement might take some milliseconds to do that? Test program to detect a system time error change and reset the system. What's a good way to detect
I think,
that?
watchdog timers are how usually people use it, either an internal chip, or if your system has a watchdog timer built in, then you have to just kind of tick off. You have to kick the dog, and if you don't kick the dog every, 10 seconds, it reboots the system. So that's a pretty standard, it's a well-established way of doing it.
Okay. How does the MBOT work on carpet, and does it have mounting options for additional components? Well, it has
it
has rubbery tires that does work on carpet. I would say not the thick carpet that's hard to
it's good,
walk through. But
it's got good, and also you can take off the rubber, and it has these these plastic grips.
I'd say any type of carpet where people walk on it frequently, not the big
Like a rug.
fluffy shaggy rugs.
Yeah. No, that won't work. But it has tons of mounting holes, spots, like these little spots on the back and on the front.
And can you mount components? Yeah, you can. Can you go to the overhead on that and show
you
that?
can totally.
So see these little mounting
Yeah, you
holes
get these
inside?
mounting
You can-
holes
yeah, you
here,
can
and
bunch
of course this, and then this is Lego compatible here, and then this is also some mounting holes and slots over here, and then on the bottom it has some
building brick compatible.
building brick. So.
Yeah, Lego story one day. Okay, let's see. What's the best way to mount batteries when making a headset?
I mean, you can glue and include a case and then put it in the case, but put it in something to protect it.
Yeah. Is that the last payphone on Earth behind you? No, it turns out. So payphones are made out of payphone, and nothing destroys payphone. So there's warehouses of payphones.
Yeah.
And they're actually pretty cheap. They're indestructible enclosures. I kind of want to do even more stuff with them.
Yeah, they're meant to survive.
Yeah, this one we
cities.
modified so it pretends like a regular phone. Okay. Raspberry Pi question. Do you have a board for limiting voltage amperage coming directly from the battery going to the Raspberry Pi micro USB port? I'm using my Raspberry Pi 3 in a robot and I'm having trouble powering it adequately.
No, I mean, there's no limit. The Pi will draw as much current as it can get. If the voltage drops, it will slow down, but Raspberry Pis require a lot of current. So that's why they're not awesome for robots unless you have a really big battery.
Okay. Are there any plans to sell any tread track kits for robots?
No.
Yeah, we haven't seen one that I think is up to... So Lady Ada uses and approves everything that goes into our store. We haven't seen anything like, oh my god, this is great. It's kind of... It's hard to get something, I'd say, Adafruit quality that we're like, oh, here's something that could work for everyone, and here's it's a good price, good value, and it's not going to just break. So not yet, but we're on the lookout. If anyone ever sees any, let us know.
Yeah.
Email support@adafruit.com. Okay. Do you have any wishes for the Pi 4? Any info about it? Not at all.
No.
In fact, we've even told Pi folks, don't tell us about future ones. We don't want to know. I am new to Adafruit boards. What's the difference with Arduinos? Well, I can answer some of this. So depending on what you're using, so most of our stuff is Arduino compatible. In fact, pretty much all of it is.
Yeah.
The difference is we have things like Circuit Playground. It's a form factor. Feather gets 52 accessories. So I'd say look at the make board guide that they did online. Gemma and Feather and our board's got high marks, but it has the differences. Like a Raspberry Pi is Linux-based, where like Circuit Playground or Metro that's Arduino compatible, but things like Feather, you probably want a Feather because it's smaller, battery charging built in, 52 accessories. We also use the M0. Arduino is traditionally known as like 32.4. M0, you can run Circuit Python, you can do MakeCode. So our stuff generally, I'd say it just allows you to do more projects. If I had to like say like what's the difference between our stuff and Arduino specifically, depending on the board, it's the ecosystem, all the things you can do and all the stuff you can do with it. But we have the most open source Arduino libraries. We still do Arduino stuff.
Yeah.
But we like the flexibility of saying, oh, you can do Arduino or Circuit Python or MakeCode, like that. Okay. Next up, what's on your holiday wish list this year? Time, peace on earth, everyone just being good to each other. That's really all we want. We did get some stuff in the mail. Thank you, Palolu, who sent us some chocolate. And then we got a couple other odds and ends.
Some extra cookies.
Hackster sent us some cookies. A nice person sent Lady Ada a box of pencils that were based on Ada Lovelace. We also, what else did we get? I kind of just want everyone to be good to each other, because that helps us, really. That's the only way. If everyone's chill, it'll work out.
Yeah.
If everyone's good to each other, world gets better, makes it easier to do everything. Okay, next, what's the best way to split power on a Raspberry Pi on a motor and a power adapter for an AutoCat feeder?
Power the motor from a different power supply.
Okay.
Just get 2.
Next up, is it feasible to make a battery level measurement tool using a current sensor and a code algorithm?
You can, but there's chips, especially if you're using a LiPo battery, there's chips that do this all for you, because it's not linear, and you have to like count coulombs. It's a pain. So without you draining your battery by measuring it, you can just get these like very low cost chips that sort of do it all for you, and like that's sort of the best way. Otherwise, just measure the voltage and do your best.
Okay. Is there any simple tutorial for CircuitPython? Yeah, we just posted one.
Yeah, check out
the Getting Started. Learn.adafruit.com.
Guide.
Can't use that one. I am building a Curibot, and I only received one 8-pin stackable header. Can I use a standard headers that came with the motor shield?
Yeah, you can probably like make something work. We like to use stacking headers, but you don't need to use them.
Yeah. How can one be a good open source hardware citizen while basing stuff off Adafruit designs? That one's really easy. All we ask is, one, don't put our logo on something, but just do attribution. The licenses are all there. Share your work. Let us know. We've seen people do really cool feather wings, and they just based off the design, and they put it in as an open source design. So it's Creative Commons share alike for the hardware. That means share it, make improvements, share it back to the world, put it on GitHub, put it somewhere, and then for code, put it on GitHub. And just I'll say what does hurt us is when it's been companies only for the most part. When someone takes your code, takes your name off it, and they say you did it, or they'll make hardware and they put our logo on it. They're not supposed to do that. Or they'll make a change and they'll remove all the credit. Like those are not. This is. It wouldn't even matter if it was open source or not. This is just like being crummy.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. But please do. That's why we put it out there.
Most people don't do that though.
No, I'm saying only. It's funny. It's like when we always hear it's like, should I do open source hardware? Because like someone will take it. It's like, no, it's probably going to be a company. And they would, even if you didn't put the stuff out there, they're going to copy you. So that's not going to stop it. But with your stuff in particular, that I didn't like is when people take your name off of it, or K-Towns or other people, and they put their own name on it, and they sell it as a product, and they say it's their own. It's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not cool. Okay, next up, any plans for a more advanced tier of AdaBox? No, it's probably going to get easier and more basic, because this is for the youngins.
Yeah, it's designed as a gift for people, or to work with, to use with people who've never done this stuff before. Yeah. If you're advanced, you're going to pick and choose what you want from the Adafruit store already. Like you're already going to get everything. Yeah. That said, we're going to try different stuff. So hopefully, people will learn about different skills or like different parts of electronics that maybe they never did before.
Someone said if you have access to a 3D printer, that's good for the MakerBlock track kit, because you can make your own accessories
that's
for
cool.
it. Yeah, one difference someone noted, like an Arduino Uno, it can't do other things like make code or CircuitPython.
Yeah,
so
that's for
the
the
yeah.
M0 processor only.
Okay, a couple more questions, and then we'll give away something. Regarding the MCP 73833 LiPo charger, I think it's connecting load directly to VBAT, because the battery will be connected to the load while charging, which I think will not sync the full charging circuit of the battery because of this. I'm trying to find a question. Oh, this is just a suggestion. I'll post it up in the forums. They have some product update suggestions to this big thing here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't think that's I thought it was a question. I got deep into it.
You're like, where's the question mark?
Okay. I have one of those Adafruit 006 boxes, and then I saw this Adafruit box uses Python on a box. I was so happy. I love Python. That's good.
Yay.
AdaBox 007 hints. 007F. If we told you, we'd have to kill you. Dun, 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 like Jason Bourne. I like the Bloodhound Gang from 321 Contact. Yeah. That's kind of our vibe. Solving mysteries. Yeah. Okay. M0 or M4 ESP32 boards. Yeah, that's not a question. Okay. Is there distributors of Adafruit in Canada so shipping to be cheaper? Yeah. Well, one, DHL is super cheap now, but go to adafruit.com/distributors. We have thousands around the world. And I think those are all the questions. You got through them.
Yay.
Yay. All right, lady.
Those are all questions.
Okay, those were the questions.
Okay, good.
I thought we had... Did we have a top secret this week?
No.
Okay, we don't. All right, well, don't forget the code is overhaul. and we're going to give away something, Lady Ada. What do you want to give away this week?
We're going to give away a itsy bitsy one of each.
Ooh, one of each.
One
That's
of
really
each.
nice.
Yeah, why
what
not?
are the rules?
Rules are, if you've won something before, you can't win again. Only one winner per my lifetime. The first person to call a phone number, and when I pick up the phone, you say hello, and then I ask you your name and where you're calling from and a project that you're working on or you want to work on. And you don't hang up on me, will be the winner of one each itsy bitsy boards.
And how do they enter? Oh,
They call the number.
they call the number.
They call this phone number right here, right there.
Yeah.
Call number, the phone will ring. I'll pick it
Yeah.
up. And then, wow.
That's the phone number.
That's
Okay.
how we do it.
And then you said this is the prize.
Yes.
Itsy bitsy.
3675 and 3677.
Yeah.
Because I don't know which one they
We're
want.
gonna
so
give one of each.
One of each.
They look almost identical.
They're $10 each. There's no big deal.
Yeah. All right, the phone lines are open. It's own bit stab. Let's see if the phone rings. You never know. I'm always expecting 1 week for the phone not to work.
Like nobody will call, sitting by the phone.
Yeah,
Trying to pick it up and see if it. Hey.
it's ringing. Okay, go for it.
Hello and welcome to Ask the Engineer. Congratulations, you're the winner.
Yay!
Yay! What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Keith. I'm calling from Memphis.
Hey Keith
Hey.
from Memphis. What's the project that you're working on or you want to work on?
I've got a couple of projects I'm working on. I've got some embedded stuff with Raspberry Pi and a clock, and some actually trying to get into IoT projects.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, awesome. We're going to give you 2 microcontroller boards that maybe you'll find handy. You can use them with your Raspberry Pi to add sensors or robotics. All you have to do is email support@adafruit.com. That's SUPPORT @adafruit.com, and tell them, hello, I'm Keith. I'm from Memphis. And I won a product number 3675 and a product number 3677, and they'll send you one of each.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Keith, and have
Okay,
a great
don't like
night.
this.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Goodbye.
I like that we switched over to the phone stuff because like more people can. Like a phone is so cool.
Yeah, phone is so cool.
call your grandma on the
Like,
phone.
hi, I'm on the phone. Ring, ring, and it's like ringing, and then it's
Yeah.
real.
Okay, well that's our show
All
for
right.
tonight, Lady Ada.
Yeah.
Epic. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank
I
you
am passing
for.
out.
Yeah, you could tell.
Woo!
So thank you, everyone, for making this a fantastic holiday season. Be good to each other. Thank you for supporting our company. Thank you all the remote team members. Big shout out to our dev team. We had to do some stuff right before the show, so thank you. Really appreciate that. Justin, Daigo, Adam, all you folks.
And very exciting times here.
Yeah, and we'll be doing a lot of stuff over the holiday break. No one's emailing us because they're all on vacation, so we get a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff done. So we're going to be doing broadcasts. We'll be doing just a lot of random stuff.
We don't have family.
No, I don't. You do. They're not here.
But they don't do this
They're not
anymore.
here right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got nobody. I just have all of you. So let's wrap up the show.
All right, thanks everybody.
This is the code.
Code overhaul. Hauling your overs.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hi, hello.
And
That's us.
here's MOSFET the cat.
Meow meow.
And here is your moment of Zener. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Meow.